Wakuda-san.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hi, Mr. Apul.
Hi, good afternoon.
So without any further delay, I'll just do small instructions which I want to give participants. We have eminent panelists with us, uh, the champions of open innovation and smart mobility. So use this chance to your fullest and uh, ask questions in the chat box. So Shankar is coordinating from our side. He'll be giving you, he'll be motivating you to ask more and more questions in the chat box. So feel free to ask, pose the questions, and at the end, will try to make sure that all the questions are answered from our esteemed panel. So without any further delay, I'll introduce one of the most interesting panelists, that is Ravi Narayan. Ravi Narayan is CEO of T-Hub, and he's also Chief Innovation Officer for Telangana State. And he's the person who will be leading the session for us today. And over to you, Ravi.
Thank you, Abhinav. Good afternoon to everyone. I'm very glad to be here. I wanted to, introduce to you the fact that we have a keynote speaker, Mr. Rajesh Uppal, and he will start off the proceedings today. After which we're going to have a panel discussion between Mr. Noritaka Wakuda and myself, and thereafter we'll have Mr. Wakuda, do a small presentation as well. So it's a very lot of very good information and a lot of interactions and hopefully a lot of insights for you as well. So with that, I would like to start off. This is a very hot topic these days to talk about it, and who better than Maruti Suzuki to lead the way in this very interesting discussion today. So let me introduce to you the keynote speaker, Mr. Rajesh Uppal. It's a very long description, so I'll take just some pieces of it for the introduction. Mr. Rajesh Uppal is a visionary and a thought leader with an impressive career of more than 30 years in the field of information technology. Mr. Uppal is currently serving as the member executive board of IT, safety, HR, and education and training functions at Maruti Suzuki. In fact, he started with Maruti Suzuki in 1985, almost towards the very beginning. I believe Maruti delivered the first car 37 years ago, right? So he's been associated with them, been part of their journey. And what's the most exciting thing about that is Mr. Uppal, in this rapidly evolving business context, his focus is to build organization ready for future and be able to respond to the strategic challenges of providing a continuous stream of talent, building organization capacity, and driving processes and systems that create high performance culture, especially as it relates to innovation. So we are very excited to have Mr. Uppal. So Mr. Uppal, I welcome you to give us the keynote address today.
Thank you so much, Ravi, for such a nice introduction. Just pardon me for my bad throat today. Okay, let me start. I mean, I've done long time in Maruti, joined in 85 and have been driving IT and innovation in the company for a long time. If you look at Maruti Suzuki as a brand, I think we have been a company which is continuously changing in all areas, aspect of business, whether it is the products or our processes or the way we manage our customers. I think we have been continuously evolving ourselves and continuously changing ourselves and all. So the continuous innovation has been part of the DNA of our company. I'll give you some examples where you can see that innovation very clearly coming out from there. I'm talking about 30 years back. India IT in a very initial stages. The problem we had was how to manage our supply chain of components coming to us. Now, Japan has a very well-tuned system of, Kanbans and all kind of things where do the just-in-time inventory, but India didn't have that process. And we started working here with a typical system of daily, MRP runs and supplying and so on and so forth. But we adopted, system, something called e-Nagare system, which is the just-in-time inventory. and we could manage Maruti's production with less than a day inventory continuously from that time onward. And I'm talking about 25, 30 years back. Similarly, later on, when the customer engagement and customer credit area was supposed to be managed and all, and the networks were coming up way back in uh, middle of 2000s and 2004, 2005, we said, okay, now internet is available, networks are available. Can we manage centrally all the customer from a single platform? And we could establish that and all at that time and all. And today, I think that's a lifeline where sitting here, we can manage any customers or we can run our business like McDonald's from any dealership with a standard process. So, or at the same time, managing whole shop floors through IT with all the PLCs connected to IT and managing producing car for a particular spec and particular quality was another thing on that. And now, post COVID, I think the journey on digital, which I think Wakuda-san will describe in detail later on, is something which is we have been driving this continuously, where the whole focus is on how do we manage the customer life cycle completely on a platform and give him a omni-channel experience. So that's the way we have been trying to look at it. So when you see all these things along, I think one thing we have been very clearly looking at is in all our innovations, customer has to be in center. Now, how do we can manage our customer very well, and how can we really be create value for him to be stick to Maruti for a long time? I think that continuously change and continuously evolving in our business. As I said, in products, in our services, or in our way we manage our businesses. And very clear example for that is NEXA channel we brought in, or where we created experiences for our customers, which is very different than the typically you get from auto showrooms and so on and so forth. So that has been our journey till now. So the whole idea behind this is the whole life cycle of innovation. Whether you do the innovation first, then you do the conceptualize that, you really do a POC, you institutionalize that, and then roll it out the whole company. So we have established the whole process of this in the company. Unless you do this whole process cycle, large company cannot adopt this technology and all, because the to manage this kind of innovation cycle, you need to create the right organization and right processes to manage this and all, and which I think in a Maruti Suzuki we are able to establish that with creating right kind of organization whose role is not to do the day-to-day work, but ensure that they focus only on innovation and adoption of innovation. And over the last many years now, recently, we have done a lots and lots of work on that and all, and we really got major benefit of that. And some of the new businesses have been recently launched by Maruti Suzuki by just adopting that new way of working and all. I think subscription of business recently launched is one of the such examples we have been reviewing. So in Maruti Suzuki, whole organization is very, very strong believer of the continuously innovation and innovation. And we also firmly believe that innovation cycles are very short. You do some innovation now, it will very quickly get copied by your competition or the other people around. So the whole process of continuously innovating and continuously evolving is the key for any organization to survive and do that and all. And all examples people share about Nokia or Kotak and all. I think one thing very clearly is if you cannot continuously innovate, your survival would be at stake. So that's very, very important. So creating the innovation culture is the way we have been working on, and we have been establishing that in the company as we go along. Our mail program, uh, which is the innovation hub being created by us within Maruti Suzuki. This program started in sometime in January 2019, where as of now till now we have 18 startup which has already engaged with us so far, and two of them has already onboarded as a vendor with us, and they are really trying to now horizontally expand their footprint from one area where we started, but to the all other area in the plant, and rest all. And we also set up some process where we can do equity investment in that and to take it forward and all. And I think Bhagavasan will talk about in detail to do that. But in this, we are not looking for some ready-made solutions. We are saying let's co-create something which is not done by till now, and that's the whole objective about this program which we have been running together with our partners. So the in nutshell, I think in summary, uh, my message to all of you is Maruti is one organization where continuously change and continuously innovation is in our DNA. And we will look for any bright idea coming from anywhere in the universe and get adopted to us so that we can serve our customer better. So anybody who has those ideas with them, Maruti is the right place to work with us. Please come back to us on our mail program, or we have many other opportunities also being created there. We'll love to have you, all of you, with as our partners, and try to create the new innovation and new strategy for us. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Upal. That was very enlightening. You know, we normally do not know a lot of these things that are going on in large corporations. For a thought leader like you to share the fact that Maruti has been thinking about this for several years, and the way you describe the innovation life cycle that any innovation goes through in a large corporate, I think was very telling. That shows the way in which you see it, being phased out or phased in, and therefore and also phased out, and the fact that it's a very short life cycle for every innovation, and it has to run its course quickly through large corporations is very telling. But at the same time, a lot of people talk about their innovation programs, their acceleration programs, their startup programs. One of the things that I at the T Hub see a lot of is a lot of corporations are in the journey of just discovery of startups. They're just trying to figure out what startups are about, what are they doing, and how do they engage with them. So usually they turn out to want to see the startups coming and presenting to them, and they will then decide, what is it that they want to do with them based on the fact that they have been exposed to the opportunities. But I also feel it's a very iterative process, which I think Mail program demonstrates. One is the fact that if you are not very clear about what is the problems that you're trying to solve, and therefore inviting startups to come and pitch to you, it's hard for you to lock in onto which one that you want to do. But also the converse is true. What I have also seen is that when the startups are there, they actually excite some very interesting ideas and interesting opportunities of either reimagining certain processes within the organization or doing something very different. I think Maruti has taken a very active role in doing this, all the way from engaging these startups to actually investing in them and so on and so forth. So very excited to be a partner of Maruti in this journey. So I just wanted to really take this opportunity to and point that out, and also the fact that the mail program is now looking to go to the next level, and there's a new cohort beginning, and we would like to invite more and more startups to get included in that program. So with that, I will invite my next speaker, Mr. Mr. Noritaka Wakadu San. Uh, Let me read out the entire thing. So it's a very interesting profile I have here. He's a strategist and a marketer. Wakuda San is currently working as an advisor to Maruti Suzuki India Ltd. He is the man whose vision and hard work resulted in creation of Maruti Suzuki's premium retail channel, NEXA. So you must have seen that all over. He believes that the future lies in innovation and moving from zero to one. His zeal of doing things differently and efficiently led to conceptualization and launch of the first corporate accelerator by an automobile company in India, which is MAIL. He's an avid golfer and a yoga practitioner, and he swears by Indian delicacy, kadi chawal. His message to all the teams and startups is work hard, party harder, and always aim to innovate. So, with that, I would like to uh, very warmly welcome Wakuda-san.
Ravi-san, thank you for the interesting introduction. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So Mr. Wakadu-san, I would just wanted to get your sense about, you've been in India now for what, 7 years?
Yes, so I landed 7 years ago, and it's been a very good and interesting journey.
So I just wanted to get your perspective of an outside in. Where did you find the India's initiatives in the mobility space? How do you think it has changed over those 5-7 years? And specifically, what are the changes that you have seen in Maruti Suzuki itself?
Well, coming from Japan, I think how I saw is India had so much of opportunities because the market size is big, the population is young, and there's so much of startups also, as you see. So it was very exciting to land here. And after landing also, you can see the aspiration to strive to provide more solutions, value to the society. You can see people innovating, which is very good because in a society like Japan, there is less innovation, there is less excitement and aspiration. So that's why I think it's very good to be in India and working with colleagues, startups is every day is exciting because at Maruti Suzuki, even in Suzuki Group, or if you see other autos, I think we are leading the digital practices and are able to come with value propositions, new business models faster than other uh, companies in Japan or other geographies. So I think all in all, it's quite good to be here.
Great. So I didn't realize you were so young, Mr. Wakaru-san. I thought it was a very sagely, wise person that will be coming on the screen. When we spoke the other day, you were only speaking. I didn't see your video. So great. So, but I do want to get your perspective on the smart mobility domain. Both from the global and where do you think India stands today as far as the global, status is in this space?
So if you take smart mobility, first I think to succeed, you need to have a good strategy, and strategy is something Marty is good at. But if you look at this total smart mobility, I think it is quite interlinked with the shared economy because these are, I think, two wheels. And since shared economy was picking up, a lot of the smart mobility picked up also, like ride hailing, or it might be like rent a car here, or it might be carpooling. So all these were going because of COVID, it's getting impacted and it's slowed down because you see the demand go down for ride hailing or rent a car or other. But I think once the COVID will become okay, I think this smart mobility will pick up again, and it is bound to increase because we also see a trend in people's preference towards more shared also. The market is ready for this, and this year we have launched one mobility business, which is a subscription. So now our customers in 14 cities for 7 models, they are able to get subscription from Maruti Suzuki, and it's a quite easy way of getting mobility because they don't have to actually possess, they don't have to pay down payment. It's monthly installment, same rate. It's quite easy to get a mobility now with subscription.
Yeah, and that's disrupting the market tremendously. We're already seeing it in larger metros in India today, and it's going into the tier two, tier three cities as well. So, Mr. Upal, you're also there with us. I just wanted to understand, given a Indian organization and that to an organization that's been established in the industry for such a long time in the automotive space, how did Maruti Suzuki decide to embrace innovation like this? How did they create these processes where innovations can be brought in from outside as well through open innovation methodologies and really take full advantage of this?
Well, I think in Maruti Suzuki, we didn't have the intention to do innovation actually because we don't do innovation. We provide value to our customers. So like Mr. Upal was saying, it's all about the customer. So we didn't create NEXA because we wanted to do innovation. We wanted to create NEXA because we believe that the buying experience can be much better. It can be actually premium. And why can't we provide that to everybody that is coming to our showroom? Because actually it was not like that. But with NEXA, we have transformed. So I think everything has to do with the customer, understanding the customer, what the difficulty or the expectations are is the start. And when we started work, we understood what the customer wants. For example, in a car buying purchase, what the customer wants now is more like a e-commerce kind of approach. I want the car. I need the information. I need what the car is best for me. Then I want to pay everything online. Then the car should be delivered next day. So the expectation is not set from auto, it's set from other industries. But we need to meet that. And when you start to meet that, then it becomes kind of an innovation. Because if you need to provide finance over the web, we need to innovate, which we have actually done. Now, Maruti Suzuki is providing finance on our website. So if you come to nexaexperience.com, you can get your sanction letter on our website also. You can see from 8 financiers all of the offers in a transparent way, which is industry first. And you don't see this, maybe in US, some people are doing, but at least in India, this is first. So I think it's about the customer, back to there. If you know the customer and you want to provide product, service in a better way, more value, then it leads to these kind of solutions. Then if you cannot go at speed in the company, then you start to look for solutions outside. And if the startups have, then we need to have a platform to collaborate. Therefore, in 2019 January, we launched a mail program, which is our corporate accelerator, because we had so much of problem statements coming from our line of business. Actually, the good news is all that is aggregated in our innovation COE. So we know what the problem statement of the companies are. So if you have that, then you can start matching with the startup and working with the startups to co-create to better the solution. I think that is how we evolved. It starts with the customer.
So, Mr. Karusan, let me ask you. So, for a startup, when they apply to the mail program, what does the journey look like? Once how do they get selected? Once they get selected, what is the way in which they are either mentored or exposed to certain problem statements? How do they start working with your line functions? And how does that whole journey within Maruti Suzuki happen for them?
Yes. So every year we run 2 cohorts, 6 months each, and there's an application phase. So just for information, the cohort 5 application is open until January 15th. But once the application is closed, then there's a pitch day. So we have a process to select the best startups. Then those startups will be coming for a pitch day. They'll pitch to the panel, which consists of our venture capital partner, Maruti Suzuki. We'll select 5 to 6 startups. Then those 5 to 6 startups will go into acceleration phase, which is 3 months. Within the 3 months, first we'll match with the line of business. It might be like production, supply chain, logistics, spare part, accessory, marketing, sales, service. Everybody's there with a problem statement. We'll match them with the problem statement and the line of business. And the line of business, the executive director from that level to the department heads will come and brief with the startups, then start to co-create. So the basic principle is we only look at startups who have technology, and we want to solve our problems through the technology. So our teams are there working on the solution, and after 3 months, there is a demo day. In the demo day, our managing director is there, all of our senior management is there on the panel, and the startup will actually present the solution. And the top 3 will be the winner. And for the top 3, we give out cars. We take them to Japan to connect them with the Japan ecosystem. We take them to Suzuki head office, other venture capitals in Japan also. And we also do a POC, which means we fund that POC. And that is done. Then we go to the POC stage, which is a maximum 3 months. And after the POC is done, and if the solution is good and that executive director in that line of business decides that this is a deployable, then we onboard our startups as a business partner, and that goes into actually the society, and we provide value to our customer.
So, Wakuda-san, just wanted to understand, some of the success stories that you had in the last, few cohorts. What would be those success stories so far?
So I can like Mr. Uppo shared, we already have two startups who are onboarded as our business partner. So I can introduce their success story. So the first one is actually good news is he is a alumni of T-Hub. So coming from T-Hub, and his startup is called InMobile. So you can search. And actually, we are working with InMobile to do a digitalization in the logistics, and we are doing big analytics, so advanced analytics like route optimization and others to improve our logistic efficiency. So that is going quite well, and it's appreciated very much. It's yielding business result. So that is first one. Second company, it's who is on board is a company in Delhi called Zane. So we are digitalizing our owner manual through Zane, and I think with that, customers will have an easier time understanding the function of the cars. So these are some of the success cases.
Yeah, one of the things that a lot of startups go through, Wakuda-san, is the fact that they are going down a certain path. They think this is where the huge market demand is, and this is what the product is doing, and they have multiple conversations happening with several customers in this space, and suddenly they're selected in the mail program, and they feel that okay, Maruti could be an absolutely you know big boost to them. This is where they're going to make the really big customer revenue and so on and so forth. So they're incentivized to look at the problem statements that are being presented by the line of business within Maruti. Now, obviously, there is a lot of merit to doing that, but how do you see startups, balancing between what their aspirations are before they came to the program, and also marrying that with the aspirations that they will develop during the program and pull it all together, so that they don't feel that that this is only a one-off thing. It is actually a validation of the larger market as it's evolving in the mobility space.
So I think that is a good question, and most of the startups have the same question when they come in. So I think it's not a one-off because we are connected with our alumni, and if there's an opportunity, we always reach out to them. So I'll give you an example. In COVID at the beginning, we needed to have a tracking mechanism for employees because if you go close to another person, it is slightly risky, as you know. So we launched a kind of a challenge. We called all of our alumni startups, and they were there. And one of the startup solution is now deployed in our head office. So we keep on engaging, and on requirement basis, we reach out to them. But how they can actually build their future is we actually guide them match with the market because we know the mobility or the automotive business very well. So I think we have a great test bed. We have the data. We have advisors, mentors, which can actually guide them to improve the solution or the product. And we don't take the IP either. So that is a usual question which comes. So with
Mm.
that, a lot of the and we do PR also, which means after they graduate from our accelerator, obviously we'll be benefiting because we usually take the service products, but also they'll be because then actually that solution is of some quality and they can go and pitch to other companies also.
I mean, that's phenomenal. So I think let me just reiterate to the startup entrepreneurs that are listening to us. So first of all, Maruti Suzuki has taken a very open approach to inviting startups to work with them, and at the same time, it's not one where they are saying that they want you to change everything so that you can become more like a service provider to them. It's actually they are helping you meet with those mentors, meet with those industry experts, meet with those people that are day in and day out, working in the automotive space, to actually get a chance to interact with them, because this is not something that usually happens otherwise. Most of the startups, if you do something like in the technology space, you probably get to meet the procurement guys, you get to meet certain other people, because that's what you're trying to sell as their product. But I think this is a unique opportunity that the program allows you to do, where you actually get to deepen your technology, create something that potentially could be an entry barrier to any of the other startups that are competing with you and trying to do the same thing, because you have a much better understanding of the problems, and therefore build your technologies much more uh, deeply than you would have done otherwise before coming into the program. And then finally, I think the opportunities for you to raise money and also to access a global market, because Maruti is one part of it, but Suzuki itself, if it starts taking an interest in doing this and start doing the bigger POC and so on, I think something that startups should really aspire for. That and after doing all of these things, what I heard Okuda-san say is that they still don't stop you from going to any of the other automotive players, because this is something that they feel is as augmenting them as much as helping the startups as well. Is that right, Okuda-san?
Yes. So
So
there's a reason why it's called open innovation.
great. So I'll let you do that presentation on open innovation. I'll just ask one last question and then we can do that. You want to do the open innovation thing now or later? The presentation, or do the question and answer later? Okay, great. So, all right. So, I was just checking with Abhinav what is it that we should do. So, I just want you to kind of paint the picture for us, Kuda-san, on what you see critical changes that the startups must foresee to win the future, and how is it that you predict that will look like, in the next 5 to 10 years?
That is a good question and a difficult one because we don't have foresight into the future. But I think to be future ready, and if you are especially like a B2B startups and you come to a company like Marty, I think the important thing is for us to be open and listen to the problem statement. Because what usually happens in Ravi-san, as you said, and most of the people want to fit their solution into the company, but the problem may be slightly complex that the product or the service might not fit. So we need to really understand what the problem is and have an innovative approach. So which is more like a collaboration. So if you become a kind of a service provider, like a bigger company, and just try to go and fit your SaaS product, it may not work. So if you keep on listening to the problem statement, seeing the customer trends, the expectations, and keep on innovating, then I think you can always be up to in line with the market. So the suggestion is, I think we need to be open and listen to even the bigger corporate. Obviously, we might not be as digital savvy or tech savvy as the startup, but there are some insights that you can get from these bigger corporates.
Indeed. See, I think the s- the sy- the synergy that comes in, the symbiosis that comes in with a large corporation and a small company or a startup, is the fact that the large corporation brings in a deep understanding of the industry, understanding of the technology, the existing technology, and also a whole lot of customer relationship and channels into the market. What the startups bring, on the other hand, is these very, very uh, interesting seeds of ideas, seeds of innovation, seeds of disruption that is necessary to start making those larger changes happen. And because they are able to do this very well and do it nimbly and agilely, I think that's where the happy combination of the two to really take on the changes that are happening in the market can be taken on. But at the same time, the ability to do this where each one has its strength to make that combined work, I think is the big opportunity that comes from these kinds of co-creation of and corporate accelerator programs. So this is great. So is Mr. Upal still there on the on this thing?
Yes, yes, I'm there.
Okay, sir. So, Mr. Upal and Wakuda-san, I have some rapid fire questions for you, just to get the Q&A segment going. Yeah. So I will just ask you this question, and if you can just quickly tell me what your thoughts are, Mr. Upal, and then I'll ask that of Wakuda-san as well. So, first rapid fire question is: what are the two important verticals in mobility which the startups should concentrate on? Mr.
Uh, First is very clear customer experience, and second would be, in my guess, would be on uh, AI and no related areas around artificial intelligence and the machine learning and those areas. I think these are the two areas, and that second one can be applicable anywhere in the plant to anywhere in the system.
Great.
So I have the similar opinion. I think it's on the CX and it's digital. So a vertical in market would be marketing, sales, or like service, or it would be like IT and digital enterprise.
Great. Okay. So the second rapid fire question, uh, Mr. Upal, what is the car in NEXA where you want to see all the futuristic systems to be installed?
Mm, I think Wakuda-san is the right person to answer this because he's come from marketing and sales. But I think going forward, I feel that all our products would have those features going forward. So I don't think we single out anyone. But Wakuda-san, can you take it?
I think it would be our S Cross because that is our flagship model,
Mhm.
and I think the aspiration is now for SUV. So we will try to load our S6 for S Cross with all these features.
Okay. And the last one, before we take the audience questions, what is the priority for the male accelerator? Startup with a great product or startup that has profitability? Mr. Upal?
Startup which can create best value for the company.
Okay. It's a combination of both.
Yes,
And,
so
and, and yeah, please.
I think startup with technology. I think we are looking at technology, not the product, because there that is where we start our collaboration.
Okay. So you're saying it's a much more fundamental kind of a collaboration. The product can morph around the needs that emerge out of the discussions with Maruti, and therefore that's where you co-create the product together.
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
I
Wonderful.
think, as I said earlier, we are not talking about products, solutions. We are talking about co-creation. I think that's the whole fundamental of our thinking in mail.
Wonderful. Great. So I'll take the questions that are coming from the audience. First one is, uh, when is Maruti Suzuki going to expand the electric vehicles in India? I guess it's for both of you.
I don't think this is a forum for product discussions on, but
But how we usually, I think this is a very good question, and how everybody is keen. But how we are thinking, if there's demand, obviously market is thinking, and we follow the market trend also. So you can expect some EVs in the future from us.
Okay. The next question I have is, how is design thinking incorporated into Maruti Suzuki in designing of cars and in designing of the NEXA platform?
So if I take this, first, as we explained, now all of our line of business is into open innovation, and we're gradually changing the mindset. But I don't think still our cars are designed with a design thinking perspective. Obviously, we take customers' feedback. The method is not like that, but we're trying to shift. So that is under process. But if you look at the CX side, like a next as we explained, this is totally on customer experience. Sorry, this is totally from a design thinking. So when we created this, we were actually sitting in the showroom because we had no idea first what was the expectation. So we were observing, we were talking to customers, we were talking to dealership, trying to understand what customers want, what is the pain point, what is the expectations. So our company is shifting towards this design thinking gradually everywhere.
Mr. Uppal, you have anything to add to that?
I think the point which he said was this has to be incorporated in a culture of doing this work, and that is something which has been incorporated in our working practice. So the point I think Bhagwan is making is we are creating a right kind of organization which can drive this innovation in the company with all the processes required to run it. Is the design thinking. It is also the incubating. In fact, we are creating an infrastructure where they can sit and do this kind of work and all. Then, which is open to innovation and all, to ensure that we facilitate this work together. So, design thinking, taking people from all the sort of areas in the company, and they work together with the team to do that. So I think this is something which is under implementation at this point of time.
Okay, there seems to be a lot of interest amongst the startups at this point. So one question from an interested startup is, they're saying, we are interested to be part of your cohort, but can we have significant role in deciding the proportion of investment or equity sharing? Mr.
So
Wakuda sir?
I can just clarify. We have a corporate venture capital. We are funding startups, but that it is not mandatory for us to take equity, which means this is all the decision in the startup's hand. And we only fund the winners of our incubation program and accelerator. So they have the right. So this equity share or proportion of investment, we'll have a discussion, but the rights are with you.
Great. Okay. One more question from a interested startup. Are Maruti diesel cars operate on biodiesel in India? We're a biodiesel startup and want to partner on companies on biodiesel adoption in India.
Uh, at the moment, actually, Maruti, we are not selling diesel cars because from BS6, there is a lot of price hike, and we see that also. And we are now focused on petrol engines. So all of our models in our lineup is only petrol at the moment.
Okay. Here is a question where there's a concern about. I heard some negative statements such as startup products and rights being bought. Could the eminent panelist talk or justify on that perception? Mr. Wakuda-san?
I don't think we said that we buy products in rights. So first, again, we don't take IPs. We don't buy the product out, means we don't buy the codes out. So like the two startups that we identified, those serve the product is now with us. We're taking the service. So I think there's a slight miscommunication, but we are not buying these products or rights out.
Great. Yeah, no, that's definitely how a sustainable open innovation platform is created. It's and also when Mr. Uppal emphasizes on co-creation, you can't co-create if you are trying to cannibalize other people's technology or intellectual property. So I think it's a testament to the success of the program so far that you've been able to do this successfully with the startups. Um, I also wanted to, from our discussion that we had the other day, a lot of the innovations that you are focusing on at the moment is on the side of customer experience versus all that innovations that go into car at the moment. Now, having said that, are there any innovations that you're looking in the AR VR space for from startups?
Yes, so I think this AR VR it has a lot of future potential, and in Marty we have already adopted some of the AR. So you can get AR of our cars on our website, for example. But I think the use cases are immense, so we are open always to collaborate in this area. I think this is good customer experience area. It can be used even for production or service. for productivity enhancement. So I think we are looking. So if you're interested, please apply to our program.
Great. So looks like we have answered pretty much all the questions. Some of them were repeats as well, so I tried to consolidate that. So thank you very much for that. So Mr. Wakuda-san, you said you had a presentation to make quickly.
Yes, actually, we've covered most of it in this discussion. So I think it might be just a repetition. But should I go through?
I think it will be a good way to summarize the discussion, so I don't need to summarize,
Okay,
You
so
can do it
let
for
me,
all of us.
yes, so let me load the presentation. So since I have 10 minutes, I will go quite fast and just summarize what we discussed today. So this is about our innovation. So in our innovation, we have three actually programs running. One is our incubation program for mobility startups. Second is our mail program, which we are now discussing. And third, a logo is yet to be created because this is our new program. It's our innovation fund, which is our CVC. So mail program, we already explained the program structure. We do 2 cohorts in a year, 4 to 6 startups. And the calendar we have also, I think, explained. But this is some of the areas that we are focused on. This is on our website. So if you come to marutisuzukimail.com, you can find out all the areas that we are looking to collaborate, starting from advertisement, which is in marketing sales. And as you see, VR is also here. And this is the program structure. We already went through this. We have application phase, we have acceleration, there's a demo day, then we go to paid POC. So this is how we are structuring the program. And if you just see, this is our mail journey so far. We launched in 2019 January. Ever since then, we have been continuously working. You can see on the bottom the demo days, which was a physical demo day because this was pre-COVID. You see our MD giving out cars to our winners. And after COVID, we have gone digital, so everything is now virtual, but we still keep on doing. And these are the startups that we have worked together, co-created. So there was 5 startups in cohort 1, 4, and 2, and 3. So the startups we were just talking about, Immobile, Zeal, they were in cohort 1. So we talked about Immobile, they're providing logistic operations solutions there with the advanced analytics. So this is one we also explained about. And some photos, how we do. So left top is a pitch day. We have some hacks and brainstorming sessions. Then we have the demo day. And we'll talk about the Japan trip because it's, I think, quite interesting. The right bottom is a photo from Japan trip. And our Maruti Suzuki innovation ecosystem is like that. We have partner in our partner ecosystems, we have our partner like T-Hub. And on the other hand, we have a Japanese ecosystem also because our parent company, Suzuki is in Japan. And we are operating in other areas also like ASEAN and Africa and Europe and all the rest of the places. So this mail Japan trip, we take our winners. So we took them last year to our head office in Suzuki. We were pitching against our top management there. We take our startups to other Japanese corporate. So we went to a venture capital office where our startups were pitching against other Japanese corporate. We took them to a government organization called Japan External Trade Organization, which is JETRO. So they were explaining how to enter Japan market, what kind of support JETRO can provide. They are providing free office also and registration support and all that. So I think this is a quite unique trip. You can see some photos. So left top, we took our startup to JETRO. Left bottom, they were pitching in a venture capital to all the corporate. You can see there was about 100 people here. And this center is our head office, Suzuki. And we have a museum, so we took them there also. And another program is our incubation. So we just started this year with IM Bangalore NSR SIL. So we are now trying to incubate startups also from idea stage. So I think this is one of another unique one that OEM is doing. I don't think another OEM is doing incubation. So we just started this. This is a one program, one cohort in a year. The duration is 12 months. I'll just take you through the details. So we just finished the application phase. It's closed. But now we're going into the evaluation shortlisting. In the pre-incubation, we're looking at about 30 startups. This is Launchpad. So after the Launchpad, we'll shortlist to about 5, 6 startups again. Then, similar to our corporate accelerator mail program, we'll have a demo day, and the winners, we'll do a paid POC. Then, hopefully, we go to deployment in the market. And lastly, this is our Maruti Suzuki Innovation Fund. So we just got this approval a few months ago, and we are starting to invest. So I think our first investment probably hopefully happens next year, January, February. And lastly, so we are from ideation to early stage, and we're discussing with Ravi-san and T-Hub if we can do more in this mature stage. So maybe next year we can launch something like a mobility challenge with T-Hub. This would be quite good, I think. And lastly, the applications are open for our mail program. Last date is January 15th. So if you are interested, please apply through this URL, www.martisuzukimail.com. So I think thank you very much. We are looking to collaborate and co-create with you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Wakuda-san. So, as you can see, the excitement is only growing. There's more and more stuff that the Maruti Suzuki, is looking to do going forward in terms of co-creating new mobility solutions going forward. January 15th is the deadline for the next cohort. There's also a fund in place, which is now scanning to find the best startups to do the funding aspect as well. So a lot of interesting things and lot of interesting possibilities that emerge from Maruti Suzuki. So I would urge each and every one of those startups to look at this a little bit more closely, be a part of this program in one fashion or the other, and therefore not just work with Maruti Suzuki, but also work with T-Hub, who can help propel your ambitions to the next level. So with that, I would like to thank Mr. Upal for the strong support that the innovation program is finding in Maruti Suzuki, driving that, providing that leadership, and also for Mr. Wakuda-san to actually drive this, to having very quick successes with NEXA, with the mail program, with various other things that are, I guess, still under the wraps. Really, really exciting time. So Maruti with Wakuda-san driving it. So thank you very much to all the audience for having joined us today, and we look forward to talking to you more, collaborating, and helping you and helping us in this innovation journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ravi. And thank you very much for all your time. So there is a feedback link which Shankar has posted on the chat box, and there is also Aditya has posted a link to the Maruti Accelerator program. So you can click that and apply there. So last date again, I will say this 15th of Jan 2021. With that, I end the session. Thank you very much for joining, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.